Welcome to Civil Aspirations, where history comes alive. Today, we're exploring the dramatic saga of the War of Independence in 1857, a monumental event that marked the beginning of India's struggle for freedom from British rule. The War of Independence in 1857, also known as the Sepoy Mutiny or the First War of Indian Independence, was a pivotal event in Indian history, marking a significant uprising against the British East India Company's rule. This conflict had a multitude of causes, ranging from political and economic to social and military factors. Here's a breakdown of the key reasons behind the uprising. Economic exploitation. The British East India Company's economic policies devastated the Indian economy, particularly affecting farmers, artisans, and small-scale industries. High taxes, the introduction of the zamindari system, and the forced commercialization of agriculture led to widespread poverty, famine, and the displacement of traditional industries by British goods. Political grievances. The doctrine of lapse and the policy of annexation were particularly resented. Under these policies, the British East India Company would annex any princely state where the ruler was either deemed incompetent or died without a direct heir, severely undermining Indian sovereignty and leading to the dissolution of many princely states. This caused unrest among the Indian nobility and led to a loss of political power and influence for many Indian rulers. Social and religious interference. The British introduced several reforms that were seen as intrusive to traditional Indian society and religion. These included the abolition of practices such as sati, the practice of a widow immolating herself on her husband's funeral pyre, and efforts to promote Western education and Christian missionary activities. Such actions, though well-intentioned in some cases, were perceived as direct threats to Indian religions and social customs, causing resentment among various segments of society. Military discontent. The immediate cause of the uprising was rooted in the discontent among the Indian soldiers, or sepoys, in the British Army. The introduction of the new Enfield P-53 rifle, which required the cartridges to be bitten off before use, was rumored to be greased with cow and pig fat, offensive to Hindu and Muslim soldiers, respectively. This was seen as a blatant disregard for Indian religious sentiments and became the spark that ignited widespread rebellion among the sepoys. Administrative arrogance. The British administrative arrogance and racial discrimination also contributed significantly to the growing discontent. Indians were denied high-ranking posts in the administration and were subjected to racial discrimination and humiliation, fostering an environment of resentment towards British rule. Cultural clashes. The British perceived Indian culture with a sense of superiority and attempted to impose Western values and ways of life on the Indian populace. This cultural imperialism threatened the traditional Indian way of life, leading to a cultural backlash that fueled the flames of rebellion. Loss of patronage. The British policies led to the impoverishment of artisans, craftsmen, and others who had relied on the patronage of the Indian nobility. With the decline of traditional industries and the disappearance of princely states, these groups lost their livelihoods, adding to the socio-economic unrest. The War of Independence of 1857 was the culmination of these various grievances against British rule, representing a major convergence of diverse social, economic, political, and military discontentments.